So I tried to vlog in public. And I'm just gonna restart. That messed up. This is why we love editing. I'm gonna take a quick look at my notes again. Just put the camera down. Just. No. I feel you're bringing more attention. I want to be a travel vlogger. That's the real aim of this channel. I want to be up there with the likes of Drew Binsky, Backpacker Ben, and Mike OK. But to do that, one must film in public, which is something I had basically never done before. Well, I had, but it was a long time ago. So my mum and I went to Chester. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Derbywick Treeks. How did I forget that already? We love editing. We so love editing. Now, you might be wondering, but the video title says you're in Chester, and that's because I am. You see, Derbywick Treeks was founded around 2,000 years ago in 74 AD approximately, when the Romans decided to set up camp. Derbywick Treeks served as a military camp that would house thousands of Roman legionaries or soldiers, and would also be home to many non-Roman citizens as well. Now, Derbywick Treeks is situated right on the border between England and Wales, nestled on the English side of the border, and thus it was an important frontier throughout history, as, you know, it's the border between two nations. After the Romans left and the Anglo-Saxons arrived and took over their place, the name of this land here has undergone many changes. Of course, as I've just told you, it was first known as Derbywick Treeks. But when the Anglo-Saxons came and they saw all these Roman forts, they named them all Chester, which derives from the Latin word castrum. I'd like to just correct myself real quick. It was Chester, not Chester. Chester. Now, Chester is just a derivation of Chester. Chester. You know, over the centuries there have been many spelling reforms and pronunciation changes, such as Chester having a rolling R. Chester. But that's for a different channel to talk about. I'm not going to do linguistics here. Now, all throughout the country, there are many cities that have Chester as part of their name. For example, Manchester and Chichester. Now, all of them derive from that same word, Chester. Chester. Which is Anglo-Saxon. And so, whenever you see a city in the UK with Chester in the name, you can be rest assured that there will be some Roman remains, even if they haven't been found yet, which is a really cool thing to think about. There may be some exceptions, but at this point in time, I am not sure. Let's just angle that way. As I said before, Derbywick Treeks housed many Roman soldiers and many non-soldiers. And for that reason, they built many buildings of public service. For example, the amphitheatre, which can still be seen today, sort of. There's a lot that can be said about that video. The first thing is that I was trying to mimic the History Channel. I am not a historian. This is not a documentary. What am I doing? The second thing is that this took me half an hour to film, and the clip only lasts about 30 seconds. The reason being that I spent about 20 minutes moping around the Roman gardens, being too scared to pull out the camera and start filming. And so I eventually gave up and went into the side street. But even then, as soon as any person walked by, I would get shell-shocked and stop talking. Take a look at this clip, for example. 3, 2, 1, iniziamo di... Change direction. Yeah. So anyways, we then went to the amphitheatre, which went about as well as you could expect by this point. The weird thing is I know they're not paying attention. I mean, I remember filming into a cafe in Spain, and it didn't feel as awkward. Why is it I'm just awkward in this country?
I don't know.
Like, I seem to just have so much more confidence literally everywhere else. Yeah, it took me about... Yeah, it took me another 20 minutes to start filming properly. I mean, there's not much to say about the amphitheatre. It's your average run-of-the-mill amphitheatre that you'd find in Roman times. However, it is always interesting and cool to think about how 2,000 years ago, many people would have gathered here to watch a spectacle. Now, a few years ago, there was quite an interesting and funny trend on, I think, TikTok and social media in general, where girls would ask guys how often they thought about the Roman Empire. And to that, my response is, semper. But beforehand, I've just found a really cool thing at the side of this amphitheatre. It seems to be a replica of an altar to Nemesis. Now, I don't really know who Nemesis is, but I'm definitely gonna have to look into that. Now, this clip feels more like a proper vlog. It's not too planned, not too rehearsed. It's all around okay. It's neutral. No hard feelings about it. But, obviously it could have been done better. And the camera angles on the altar were less than ideal, one could say. Join me as I enter the Roman gardens. Now, unlike most places to do with the Romans that are touristy, this one is artificial. You see, in the 1940s, I believe, Chester gathered all remains of buildings from across the city, gathered them all together and placed them to make this. So none of the structures here are original. They've all been moved. Even this bath, the remains of this bath over here, I believe this will have been moved, but we can check. Yep, Bridge Street, not the original place. Nevertheless, this is a really cool place to see, and especially with the nice weather as well. I recommend it. You know what? That clip I have no issues with. But again, it took me 20 minutes. Like, that shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be this hard. It's not that hard. I don't know why I can't just click, you know, the button and start filming. But here we are. By this point, my energy was completely depleted and I didn't want to film near people anymore. I also didn't want to ruin the day for my mother, given, you know, we're on a day out. And I was wasting so much time being too scared to vlog. And so, like any respectable human being, I decided to give up and just enjoy the day with my mother, and only filming when I felt comfortable enough to do so. Anyways, so the takeaway of this video is that I need to stop preparing so much. Like, yes, I can look up some information, but I don't need to give it out like it's a history class. I can just sprinkle in some of my own knowledge here and there when I think it's worth it. And I also need to get over this fear of filming in public. So, over the next 20 days, hopefully, I'm going to try to film in public for at least a minute, maybe 2 every day, to build up that confidence so that when I go abroad, I'll be comfortable enough to film wherever I am, and hopefully bring some great content for you all. Well, that pretty much wraps up the point of this video, but if anyone's interested in how the rest of the day went, here's a little montage. We walked along a river and saw a bridge, got some food, my burger was decent, my mum's was comically bad. I then came across a guy with a Chinese tattoo, which read, "I love gold." I don't think that's what he wanted. Probably shouldn't tell him. Shh. Then we got an ice cream and I started bleeding into it. Fun times. I climbed up some stairs and walked along the walls. I also decided to test out the time-lapse feature of my GoPro. We saw another bridge. Then I failed to talk about a 500-year-old horse racing track for 10 minutes. I discovered that all girls' schools still exist. I completely forgot that the UK had all girls' schools, to be honest. Went into town and went into a souvenir shop. It turns out all the keyrings were about London of all places. Kinda strange, but okay. As I had come across so many Italians throughout the day, I decided to do the least introverted thing ever and talk to 2 girls about it. Turns out there was a summer camp. Anyways, my mother decided to film me in secret because this was the first time she had ever seen me interact with a woman that wasn't herself. Then my mum forced me to have a picture taken, and after that, we took a picture together in front of the famous clock here. Apparently it's the second most photographed clock in the UK, after Big Ben, so it's really not that impressive, is it? Anyways, to end the day, we had a drink and walked back to the bus stop. Adios.